Remember, you're submitting your government ID to them. It's got to match your name. And so if your band name is Bitty Bitty Bum Bum, it's not going to match your name. So you're not going to be able to secure the account.
So what you're going to have to do, and what we're totally telling you to do, is to change your legal name to Bitty Bitty Bum Bum. Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real. Welcome back to another episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. S.O.B standing for small owned business, not son of a you-know-what. So here with my baby sister, Chelsea. Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, Vivian.
Good to be with you again.
It's always good to be with you.
We want to remind you guys really quick to go ahead and subscribe to our podcast if you are looking for free weekly marketing content that can help you grow your small business. And also, we are on all platforms, social media, as far as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff under The Seasoned Marketer.
So before we start today, I just need to clarify some things from last episode when I talked about the hurricane story. I've been informed that I'm remembering wrong. So first off, it wasn't a hurricane, it was a tropical storm. Big difference. Second off, we did have power. Tim just didn't feel like cooking. I don't cook. Tim cooks. He didn't feel like cooking, so that's why we went out. So we had power. It was a tropical storm. Everything else in the story, still the same. Just saying.
Well, I was kind of wondering why you guys wouldn't use like a propane tank for like a grill or something. But then again, if it is a true hurricane, you wouldn't want to be out there doing that. So I guess kind of dangerous, but all right. Well, so Chelsea, do we want to move on to today's topic, which is?
Yes. Our topic today is about the latest Instagram blue check mark fiasco, scandal, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's not a scandal. It feels scandalous to me, though, just saying.
I think it does feel scandalous to a lot of people. Well, especially because this is coming right off of the coattails of Twitter doing something similar. So it just kind of makes it look a little suspect that it's not a original idea, and I wonder how long, it took them to kind of come up with it.
Yeah, which later on, Twitter does come up in my argument about this.
Oh, we're arguing. We're throwing hands today. What's going on?
I mean, well, I think really what we're trying to discuss today is, for small businesses, is this something that you're going to want to invest in? Now, we can't tell you a hard yes or no. You know what's best for your business, but we are going to go into the pros and cons of the blue check mark. I do believe Instagram is calling it the verified badge. Not blue check mark, though in this scenario, I think you and I can just call it blue check mark. It's what it is.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So that's just frame of reference so that when we're referring to it here throughout the episode, you guys know exactly what we're talking about, and we're all talking about the same thing. This is actually something that Instagram and Facebook, so Meta, Meta Verified, just rolled out recently, and it was on the coattails of Twitter rolling out something very similar. So remember back in the day that a blue check mark actually used to mean something, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term or anything. It was just something that a lot of people were aspiring to get to, right? Yeah. So it was kind of like a big deal if you had a social media account and you had a blue check mark because it verified that you truly were that person. And so let me tell you, in application, I follow quite a few famous people. I love being all up in the tea of famous people. And that's the one way that I know I'm following the right account, because there are so many accounts that are created, right? Yeah. That are typically fan pages, or you may think it's the actual actor, actress, and it's not. And so that was a big reason that that badge was a big deal back then. Why are you laughing?
Okay, so this is related, and I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but this comes up now. I'm already going to talk about it. When I was doing research for this episode, have you seen Wendy's Facebook page recently?
No.
I thought I was on like a fan account or like a fake page because it was so wild. Like none of the posts made any sense. Like I think I went down a rabbit hole and I was researching this because I'm like, there's no way this is Wendy's actual Facebook page. It is. And people are theorizing that they're pretending to be a baby boomer using Facebook. I don't even know how to explain it. If you just go to Wendy's Facebook page.
So what you're saying though, if you guys don't follow Wendy's was always known to have these quick-witted responses to stuff. So it was.
It's not. I'm literally.
No, but it was. Right?
Oh no. Yeah. Okay. In the past.
Yeah. And so that's what is telling Chelsea that something's wrong, is that she's saying the communication, the style of communication is completely different now. And I guess they're acting like baby boomers and not what, millennials.
I don't know how. I'm going to pull it up. Okay, 58 minutes ago. What is a star sign and how do I get rid of it?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Do you see what I mean? Like a baby boomer Facebook page. I have been hacked. This post is against the law. A bunch of exclamations. There's a 1 in there. My nephew Jargons said it was because my password was just my name, but how else was I supposed to remember? Change it to Bob's name. Blessings.
So I do think now that you kind of read through some of those, I think there's a bigger thing here. So they've got to be rolling out some type of campaign or something and are going to incorporate this, because it does look like it's a very strategic, or doesn't look strategic, pivot.
It has to be like a strategic shift, and it's going to have to be a part of a larger thing, because campaign. Like, why else would you do this? This makes no sense. I only accept these cookies, and it's a cookie. Like, I legit thought, but they have the check mark. So then okay, I was like,
Chelsea's very wound up about this for some reason.
I am, because it makes no sense. I'm sorry. I'm done.
We're done chasing that rabbit right now. Maybe she will ask us to do a separate episode on Wendy's. But if, for reals, y'all, go on to Wendy's and just scroll through either some of their Twitter or Facebook or Instagram stuff, and just see months ago the style and the posting was very different than what Chelsea is showing us here today. So that's what has her all wound up. All right, so getting back on track though with this blue check mark. So the only reason Chelsea knew that it was legit was because they were communicating from an account that had a blue check mark.
Yes. So for Meta, they are really pushing that to get a blue check mark, they are going to verify that your profile is who you say you are and that you meet the requirements, that you are authentic, unique, notable, and that you have a complete profile.
The controversy here is really Twitter launched and said, hey, you know what? No longer are you going to have to, in order to get a blue badge, we're now going to allow people to pay for it. I mean, hello, it's called a source of revenue. and they are a business. And so that's one of the ways that they're going to be bringing revenue into Twitter. Additionally, Facebook and Instagram, Meta, the company that owns both of those, that's what I was saying is I kind of feel like they copycatted. They were like, oh, well, since he's already dipped his toe in it and, yeah, there was a backlash, but people are still using Twitter, like we can do the same. So now for a fee, you can actually pay every month, correct?
Yes,
it's monthly.
It's monthly.
Every month to have that blue check mark next to your Instagram profile or your Facebook profile. Here's where for me it's weird. And Chelsea, you know me well enough at this point. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I am not going to be submitting to any social media platform my government ID. That is the reason I am not going to do this, okay? I'm not going to sit there and take a picture of my license, my driver's license, and submit it so that then they have it in their file somewhere. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that is
just
reasonable.
Keep me underground.
I have so many issues with this, honestly. I'm very heated about the whole checkmark thing. But really, just to start, the shit is expensive. It is so expensive. So for Instagram verified, it is $14.99 a month.
Just for one platform.
Just for one platform.
See, I think, let me tell you though, this is where I think a lot of people are misunderstanding, because when I watch YouTube videos, and I've seen a couple of them on people's take or, what their opinion is on this Meta verified blue check mark. So many people are leaving out the fact that you have to pay separately for Facebook and Instagram. They're saying, oh, for $14.99 a month on Facebook and Instagram. No. $14.99 a month for just
Instagram. That's if you purchase it through the app. Now, supposedly, if you purchase it on desktop, then it's $11.99. But I was doing my research on this, and I actually tried to purchase it on the desktop, and it wasn't even an option. It said you have to go to the app. So that's $14.99. So if you want Facebook and Instagram, it'll cost you $30 a month.
Wow.
That's
for
expensive.
A small business, that's, yeah. I mean, I will say this. It does make a little bit of sense if you have a large follower count. And I'm going to tell you why. I actually had a friend who, she's a influencer on Instagram. And so the bulk of her business really is being able to, pitch herself to these brands as far as how many followers she has, and then, to promote their products. She had a very large following. I can't remember what it was. It was very large though. And a hacker got a hold of her Instagram account. Nobody at Instagram could ever respond to any of her messages. And so basically, I think it was about a week where she was stressed out because she just couldn't get back into her account. And here's the other part of it is not just does she lose a part of her revenue or a way for her to promote herself, but now at this point, you don't know what that hacker is doing with your account. And so the really sad part of it is, let's say she's amassed a following of 100,000 followers. Mm-hmm. They could very much be in their messaging, sending direct messages to those followers. And unfortunately, there are some people out there that just won't, either they're not really paying attention or they followed her for so long and they think, oh, she's asking me for money or she's asking me to do X, Y, and Z, and they're going to do it. And so that's the downside of it. And I feel like if it does add an added layer of protection, and maybe Chelsea, you could talk a little bit about that, where you're not just paying to have that blue check mark next to your profile. Yeah. You're actually paying for some additional security or features, right?
Mm-hmm. So what are those? Here's the justification. You get more than just that blue check mark. So you're going to get a proactive account protection, access to account support, and originally increased visibility and reach. So basically, if something happens, like if a hacker gets into your account, Instagram, you'll be able to reach out to them very quickly and they'll be able to get everything sorted out very quickly. So you'll be getting the added layer of protection. So if hackers, I know some small businesses who have lost their account multiple times to hackers.
Wow.
That might be something that you should invest in. I mean, if it's something that you're really worried about, then, I mean, it'll be worth it then, because you'll have that direct line to Instagram.
Well, so let's pull up exactly, though, what they're telling us you're going to get. All right, so reading straight from the Meta webpage, this is what it's telling you. Introducing Meta Verified, a subscription bundle to help you establish your presence on Instagram and Facebook. And so then it's saying that you'll get verification, obviously, like we said, with the government ID. Oh, it does say, which uses a verification process with a government ID and selfie video to secure establish your account's authenticity.
Vivian's not doing that.
No, I definitely am not. Proactive account protection, and this is what we're talking about, where they say get protection from impersonation with proactive account monitoring and secure your account with required two-factor authentication, which I think I still have this. Most accounts have two-factor authentication, don't they, nowadays?
They should, yeah.
Yeah, email or cell phone, something like that. And then exclusive features too. So they are saying that you get exclusive stickers on Facebook and Instagram stories and Facebook Reels and 100 stars a month on Facebook. So you can show your support for other creators. So if you guys have ever been on Facebook and you've watched a reel and you see that little star badge on the bottom of the screen, that's you showing some love, where you can give them, you know, I guess some money. I think it's tied to money.
I think it's tied to money. Yeah.
So it looks like you get 100 of those to be able to share a month. And then direct account support. And this is the second part of that security that's really big. So get help when you need it from a real person on common account issues that matter to you. Now, it's interesting to me that they put the word common in there. Yeah. So what's considered common or non-common issue, right?
Yeah, that's
so I think it's yeah, it's great that they're trying to be proactive about it. So I was about to just question Chelsea about the pricing.
Wow, like I didn't do my research. Go ahead.
But I did find it on here where it says, so the question is, these are FAQs. The question says, can I use one Meta verified subscription on both Instagram and Facebook? And they flat out say no. To use Meta Verified on both Instagram and Facebook, you must subscribe on each app separately. So to Chelsea's point, the one thing a lot of people are not telling you is that you're paying separately for each one of these accounts.
I did my research, and originally it also included increased visibility and reach. So the original sentence was, users will get prioritization in comments, recommendations in Explore page and Reels, exclusive stickers, direct access to customer service, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So this did not go well for them when they first announced that, because... And I remember having this conversation with you because I was honestly kind of annoyed too, because I do all of our social media stuff for all of our clients too. So for all of our clients and for our page as well, I handle almost all the social media.
You handle all of it.
And basically you're saying, pay us and we'll show people your content. And
okay, so there's a term called pay to play. And typically we use pay to play in a sense when we're talking about advertising, right? So like Facebook ads, stuff like that, right? You don't expect, or I think, this is my personal opinion, things have officially shifted. Okay. Social media was all about connection and using it for personal. Then we obviously started using it for business purposes, because why would you not tap into that? But now I feel like what it's doing is it's definitely shifting the environment within these social media platforms. And it is going to become even more so a pay to play part of it. If you haven't noticed, Instagram does a really good job of dictating to you how to get more visibility. Oh, instead of using photos, now we want you to use Reels. Then as of like a couple weeks ago, oh, we're going back to photos, prioritizing photos and not Reels. Now it's, hey, by the way, if you pay us a little bit of money, we'll be sure that your post gets in front of more people, X, Y, and Z. And to Chelsea's point, and she did do her homework accurately. So A plus, A plus plus. They did initially, in the first batch of the press release, they did have that sentence in there where they were talking about increased reach and visibility. And from what I've read, they quickly took that off because they were concerned that there was going to be a backlash and that maybe it wasn't the right time to announce that, or that they still hadn't quite figured out how to go about doing that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the other part of it too, is like I said, I don't know how much forethought went into it, or if they were just kind of riding the coattails of Twitter and saying, hey, if he's going to start charging for it, we can easily, proof is in the pudding. He's already done it. So now let's just go ahead and do it. People are kind of already primed for it. We're not introducing anything new.
So in my A+ research, I was listening to content creators who have purchased the badge, and I didn't hear anything about customer service quite yet. I will say that a lot of these content creators take their like privacy and security very seriously because this is their source of income. So nothing on that. I did hear a lot of them were touching on the fact that they weren't getting any extra visibility or anything, just as a point like, hey, maybe they said that isn't true, but it is. No, like they really, all their numbers are kind of staying in the same realm as to what they usually
and
were.
I think maybe that's the answer to our question, is that not so much that they were scared of the backlash, but maybe they just hadn't figured it out how they were exactly going to roll that part of it out, because it was in there initially and then they pretty quickly took that off. So I think, to your point, if they're not seeing a shift in their numbers or increased visibility or, more views, then I don't know that's. Now, I did read somewhere where they were talking about specifically on certain pages they would get increased visibility. And so maybe, how like on TikTok there's like the For You page and stuff. So I think Facebook and Instagram have something similar, and they were talking about that in certain areas your video would appear more or, be on there more than someone that wasn't blue checkmark verified.
The Explore page.
The Explore page, yeah. As Chelsea said, she spends more of her time on that page. I like to peruse, but yeah. So there are two additional things that I do want to bring up, which I thought was interesting. It's not available to business accounts right now.
Wow. In my A++ research, I didn't see that.
So I think that's a big thing. If you are considering doing this for your business account, not quite there yet. So I think, what's the difference in account? You can have a personal account and then you can have a creator account. And that's it. They allow you to do it for the creator account. So if you are doing more so something along the lines of being like an influencer or something like that, and it's still under your name, then you'll be able to do it. But here's the thing. I was watching a video and I thought this was very interesting because this particular person is really big in the music industry. He's a music producer, and he was bringing up the fact that if you're a band, you're not going to be able to submit the proper documentation to be able to get blue check verified. And so that's going to be something that's similar to businesses, right? Because it has to, remember, you're submitting your government ID to them. It's got to match your name. And so if you're, if your band name is Bitty Bitty Bum Bum, it's not going to match your name. So you're not going to be able to secure the account.
So what you're going to have to do, and what we're totally telling you to do, is to change your legal name to Bitty Bitty Bum Bum.
All right. So yeah, put that on my 2023 to-do list. Change my legal name to match my band name. But that's so that I think that's a big thing. Keep that in mind, and maybe we should have led with that, but here we are.
I think understanding whether you will want to do this is still proactive. I mean, even if it's not available to you now, if you're going to want it later on, then you're going to want it later on, and you'll be able to purchase it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so what do you think how people are going to perceive it, though? Like, do you think any more or any less of a business that would use a blue check mark?
Yeah. So, and when it had originally, when this had originally been announced, you and I had a conversation about this. I was pretty heated about it because
If you can't tell, she gets pretty heated about a lot of stuff. I'm the mellow sister.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword, because now originally you were getting increased visibility. That might come back later on. So if you're not purchasing it, then you might not be getting that visibility. If you do purchase it, it doesn't feel authentic anymore, because originally the blue check mark was for people who grew organically. They became a staple in people's social media lives. I don't want to say they earned that check mark, but they did, though. They earned that check mark and it felt authentic. Now, really anyone can buy it. It doesn't really mean what it used to mean. It doesn't symbolize what it used to symbolize.
Yeah. It's always, these conversations are always so interesting to me because it reminds me of, like, very similarly how in society as a whole, there are certain things that we take as a badge and we attach societal positioning with these badges. Mm-hmm. And so, like you're saying, the thing is, it's curious to me that now something that I guess was looked as, I earned this badge, or I have a big enough following, or I'm a public figure, or whatever, on social media is now up for grabs, and everyone's like, oh, like something just feels weird or off about it, right?
It doesn't feel authentic anymore. Like I'm just going to think, oh, you had $30 to spare this month.
Yeah. So here's the other part of it too, though, is when does it make you, let's say they roll this out for business accounts, because they will at some point, y'all. I mean, listen, if it's a money cash cow for them, which, oh my gosh, Chelsea, I don't know if you did this in your A++ research, but they actually told us how much money they made on the first day. So I couldn't find the exact figure. I think I saw it somewhere while I was scrolling on Instagram, and it was an insane amount of money that they made on that first day when they launched. But here's the interesting thing is looking at what figures they've put together. They actually, while Meta Verified stands to generate just $2 billion in its first year. $2 billion. So y'all, don't tell me that this isn't about the money. It definitely is. They figured out a good game plan for being able to get people on a subscription. Let's think about that too. It's not a one-time fee and forever you're verified. It is a subscription basis. So let's think about this. If you're on Instagram and Facebook for the next 5 years, how much money are you paying to have that blue badge? And I'm not poo-pooing on it. I'm just saying that these are all things, you know, when you look at it from my point of view, I'm always a very skeptical person. And I think this definitely smelled a little fishy to me.
I feel like we have spent a lot of time talking about the cons. Again, if you're someone who values security, wants that extra layer of protection, you know, you've had problems with hackers or spam accounts or stuff like that, this is a great opportunity for you once it comes out for businesses. If you're a small business, if you're a content creator, you know, this is great for you.
So we preach this a lot, and I think it just comes full circle with all of this launching and coming to fruition. Social media is not free. Social media, you need to think about the time and the resources that you are investing in putting this content, putting it together, pushing it out there. I know back in the day, everyone used to think, I'm going to do the free thing and I'm just going to hop on Facebook and promote my business. It takes time, y'all. It's taking time. And now if you're paying for this as a creator, it's also taking some revenue to do that, right? A little bit of expense. So you need to be thinking about these things, and you need to look at social media as a strategy, right? Yes. So be very particular and strategic about the way that you want to show up on social media and what you're using it for.
Absolutely. I mean, if this is, again, something that you're interested in, then do it. But having a strategy and understanding that social media, again, like we like to preach, social media is not the only tool that you're using for your small business. That's what matters, is looking at the big picture. Is this going to benefit my small business? Is this going to be a relevant part of my marketing strategy? If it's not, don't do it.
Absolutely.
I feel like I've strongly expressed my opinion in this episode. Only thing I can say is please go look at Wendy's Facebook account. I'm still mad about it. Maybe not mad. I'm still heated
She's
about
salty.
it.
She's very salty about it. So we want to remind you guys to subscribe to the podcast once again. And if you have any future topics that you want us to cover, please send us an email at help@theseasonmarketer.com. So that way we can add it to our docket. I promise we have some exciting stuff coming down the pipeline for you guys, including a special guest that we're going to have on our podcast not too long in the near future. But thanks again for tuning in. And we hope that you guys will consider Meta Verified if that's something that fits your business. Yeah. Well, whenever it comes out, because it's not available to business accounts right now, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Go out there, be the best S.O.B you can be.
That's right.